Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Stevens Playbook. This is actually podcast number 2 and happy to get at it. Well, one of us is happy to get at it. What's going on with you?
There's nothing going on with me. It's the New Year's, and everyone has their own little New Year's resolution. And I wanted to stop nicotine, and it's rough. It's day one of the withdrawals, and it's not fun. So I'm just here. He'll do the talking.
So, as we go into the new year, just going to talk about some of the things that I'm focused on right now. So, at least for me, first thing is to put in place systems. So right now I'm working on making sure my routines are set in stone for the new year, something I can build on, something that is going to keep me rigid, um, automate and fuel the progress for the rest of the year. So that's one of my top priorities. Another priority is just to reduce the taxes on my time. What am I doing that is not leading me towards where I want to go? So those are my two biggest things, and that's where I'm gonna start off at least for now. As we move forward, my focuses will change, but you gotta take one thing at a time, and that's where I'm starting. So I think it's a pretty good place to start, and interested to see where that goes.
How you plan on doing this?
My systems.
Yeah.
So right now I've got this app that I'm using on my phone. It's called what's it called? Habits.
Habits.
Yeah, it's habits. It's pretty useful. What it's helped me so far with is just visualizing it, putting it all on a list. You mark something, it marks it done. So when you say, okay, I'm gonna do, um, let's see, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m. every day. So every day you mark off whether you did that. It'll show you your stats for the month, for the year, for the week. And then that'll really just help you keep you accountable. You'll look at the app at the end of the day and say, okay, I've got this thing that I didn't do. Am I gonna sit down and finish this task, this habit of mine, before I go to sleep, or am I gonna fail the day? It all goes into another focus of mine is just winning the day, right? So the habits, you finish all your habits that you set. Say I'm gonna do all these things. You do that, and then you won the day. You win enough days, you win the week. You win enough weeks, you win the month, the year, the decade, and then eventually you'll end up winning life. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking on it. So really just nailing down the systems, the habits, the routines, processes that is going to fuel success and really win the day. So focus on one day at a time. And here's our podcast for day number 2, which is one day at a time.
Yeah. I guess when we talk about the habits, like, so, so probably the most important thing that I've noticed is when setting goals is that you have to write it out first, exactly what you want to do. And then from there, you you put into place each day you win and each day you lost. You take complete accountability for it and call it either a good day or a bad day. So red day or green day. And then once you do that, the next processes would be to do your habit goals. And how I separated mine out was I set it up into 4 different categories. Level up habits, I have value creation habits, I have balance habits, and I have destiny habits. And so level up habits have to deal with like how to make yourself better, how to improve yourself mentally. And so things like reading a book and oh geez, what do I got on here? Reading a book, doing things like Duolingo, writing down in my I have a little separate notebook about like today I learned pretty much, and so I just write little things that I've read. Perhaps I learned from the book, or just general information I read throughout the day, and I would put that in there of this is what I learned today, and then I can go back and look at it. And then I have for my last level up thing is something that I challenge myself to do something a day, or at least 5 times a week. It doesn't have to be every single day, but at least 5 times a week. Something where I try to fill faster at something. And that could be anything. It could be a podcast and not knowing what's going to happen next, but constantly put yourself out there and trying to fill faster. And I try to do that 5 times uh, a week, and I feel like that really helps you get that level up habits.
You try to fail faster 5 times a week.
At least 5 times a week. So I don't know if I can. Maybe I'll just have it like pop up on the screen or something. But I have like nope, you can't see it. But I have like a little list of all the stuff on my phone. So whenever I just open up my phone and I just lift up, it immediately comes up the first thing and it shows me what I've got accomplished throughout the week and what I need to do throughout the day.
Yeah, so I guess it's all about, figuring out where you're at, what you need. And for me, some of the struggles in the past have been, staying consistent with that diet. So right now I got to hit breakfast. If I miss breakfast, it's really hard for me to make it back up in the day. I got to count my calories and my protein. So when I do that, it helps me make sure that, I'm hitting those goals because it's easy to think that you ate a lot of food during the day. And for me, that's my struggle is eating enough to gain weight. It's easy to think that you've eaten enough, but then when you actually look at the numbers, you're like, wow, I wasn't even close. Some people see the opposite. Maybe, I ate too much, but for me, that's how it is. So that's one of my habits, and it's a list, one of a myriad of many other habits on there, but that's just an example of where I'm at. That's on the fitness side of things. So it's kind of I got fitness goals, habits, I got productivity, I got mindset. So it's all things that are going to make me better. That if I do consistently, will have an impact. We lost them.
For those that do watch this eventually, these are my legend planners, and I write in it every single year. And so each book is its own year. So this was 2024, 2023, 2022, and I have more, but these are the only ones I found. And so basically what I try to do, and this goes throughout any person that wants to do something in life and they don't know what they're doing, the first step is to just write down what you could possibly want and the direction would go. Write down everything you could possibly think of how to make it happen, and then work towards it, and then just make yourself accountable. So for the past 2 years, I've literally documented every single day in here of what I've ate, workouts I've done, any goal that you have, document it every single day, or to the best of your ability. And you'll notice that a lot of wonderful things happen because you can kind of see better where you're headed. And sometimes you go throughout the time and you're just like, you go throughout your day and you're like, oh, I didn't really waste that much time. And then in reality, you wasted like 3 hours and you don't even realize you wasted 3 hours. And that's the same thing. You write everything out and it kind of makes it easier to see where you're failing at and where you can be better at.
Yeah. So I guess a takeaway, you might be thinking, well, why am I going to listen to these guys? And maybe we're looking at this like 10 years down the road and you're saying, oh, I wonder how these guys got to where they're at. This is how. But if you listen to this a lot sooner, maybe just think, what are some things that I'm working through and critically analyze and say, is this something that actually would help me? Does he have a point when he says, win the day, win the week? If you win the day, you win enough days, you win the week. If you win enough weeks, you win the year. If you win enough years, you win life. That's a quote I got from Andy Frisella. But if if that's something that can resonate with you, that's what we're doing right now, and we'll see how that pays off. But I have a pretty optimistic viewpoint that it will pay off, and winning enough days will eventually turn into a year. So 25 just started. Today's day one, and we're gonna make 365 of these podcast episodes. So we'll keep them short, but first, anything to close it off with?
Yeah, we're learning along the path, and we're part of this journey. So you can see from day one how we start and what we decide to do with our lives.
All right, signing off.